What's going on, everybody? So now that the football season is here, I can officially say that we will now have Browns After Dark Sunday night, Monday night, and if that is not enough for you, we got another one on Thursday. So if you've ever said to yourself, hey, I wonder where I can meet with people and talk about the Browns, that is the place for you. Check us out at Browns After Dark on Twitter. The link will be in the description down below. Times will also be posted on that Twitter page, so be sure to give us a follow, turn on your notifications, and come let us know what you think. We want to know your thoughts, so I'm looking forward to seeing you there.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Captain Cole here alongside with DS Sports Derek Frisbee himself, and we got a spicy episode of Ringside Rambles coming up for you live and in color, Jack. And on this one, normally we would doing a lot of wrestling news and just covering a lot of wrestling articles and stuff. I think this one, because it's a very special day. Wouldn't you agree, Derek? Today is a very special day indeed. Yes, sir. Absolutely. So we're going to be doing a little less.
It's a shitty day for some people, but
a little less news and a little more promo. So let's get right into it. So just to get us all started and piped up and heated and everything, we're going to be going right into the fallout, the absolute disaster, the nuclear bomb that is AEW, All Elite Wrestling. Oh, boy. And the first one that has been victim of the nuclear fallout, of the nuclear bomb, that is Tony Khan and everybody in the EVP department, whatever you can call that is. CM Punk is apparently getting on the chopping block. You know, we've been watching this for a while, and I have to say, when it comes to CM Punk, when he first came out, when they first brought him back, I was shocked. And Derek, you can say for yourself, you were shocked too. You were shocked. Everybody was happy. We were all happy. We were thrilled. We're like, finally, they brought him back. Finally, CM Punk has returned to Chicago.
Wait, let's see. What was it? 2014 was his last time in professional wrestling? So you consider we're in 2022. Well, no, he came back in 2021. So,
right.
Yeah, of course, people are going to be happy. I mean, it has literally been a decade.
Yeah, it's been over 7-8 years, whatever you want to call it. And he came out, and his first entrance back in his hometown of Chicago, this guy was revered as a god.
Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah. And we fast forward a whole year, and what has happened to this guy? They have literally booked somebody that was the premier talent in professional wrestling, and some 30-year-old cokehead mark by the name of Tony Khan. We know who he is. I mean, hell, let's just go and say it. Tony Khan has booked this guy into oblivion. Yeah. This guy literally. But I watched one match in AEW. I forgot who he was wrestling. It was some luchador or something. And this was about, 4 months ago. Probably the last time I watched AEW. I watched it just to see what they got. Just
it was a Dynamite, right?
Yeah,
I think I remember it was a Dynamite. Yeah.
I watched that. I saw CM Punk, and man, it was hard. How are they booking one of the greatest talents in professional wrestling into absolute oblivion? This guy is a hell of a wrestler. He's a hell of a promo. I mean, he should be running your promo classes in AEW, but that's besides me, just watching this guy absolutely just booked into oblivion. Injuries. And finally, he ends up getting cut because some assholes in the back wanted to have, a pissing contest, wanted to play with his dog or some other damn thing because, we're stars.
Well, the dog got hurt. The dog got hurt.
We got these guys that have too big of an ego. I think they're just the absolute greatest star because you got this billionaire that doesn't know what the hell he's doing. booking these guys into oblivion. I mean, he's already screwed over, MJF. I don't know how many times. I mean, there's a reason why a pipe bomb promo got cut on Tony Khan on live television, for that matter. And this guy has a penchant for literally booking the greatest talents in wrestling and over the last 10 years into oblivion. And this is absolutely embarrassing. And who's to blame for this? It's not just Tony Khan. I mean, it's not just that guy. You got these EVPs, these wonderful EVPs, like apparently Chris Jericho's one. I don't know how the hell he got that. And you got all these other, jackoffs as these executive vice presidents because it's all friends wrestling, and whoever Tony Khan likes or is sniffing their ass crack at the time is all of a sudden the EVP. And this is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Why are we letting these mushmouth, old as hell, wrestlers that are 10 years past their prime, 10 years past their expiration date, that really don't know what they're doing, being an executive vice president of a major wrestling company? You got guys like Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, you got Billy Gunn, you got William Regal, you got all of these solid talents that worked in the territories, that worked in all these small promotions and have experience with training, teaching, and all of these other positive aspects that could be really growing your promotion and really helping out with the booking, know which guy need to be working with who, know which gimmicks to be used in this match, so on and so forth. And they're just not being used. And it's just so embarrassing. It's so tiring. And we're getting really tired of watching this. And you wonder why WWE is doing so good. There's a reason why. And it's not because, and it is not all entirely just because they got old man Vince out of the CEO's office. That's part of it. But it's because, they're finally allowing their talent to say wrestling and doing all the things that wrestling is supposed to be about. All right. What do you got? Your turn. Fire away.
I mean, it's just more of the same. Why are certain people in charge of certain positions? And we're going to talk about this next with some people in this situation returning. It's just weird because this happens all the time. I think I said this the last time we talked about it, but like you put people in positions of power that have no business being there. And like we've seen in the past, have failed over and over. And in AEW's case, they have a bunch of young guys who are power hungry, who've had smoke blown up their ass for how long about how great they are, get thrown in these positions, and no wonder it fails. I mean, this is literally your head of your company. Some of these guys, I should say, picking a fight with somebody who is your highest paid and top star, or at least was your top star in CM Punk. And now there's been conversations had about, I mean, obviously Punk's contract getting bought out, but not just that. Now there's talks about, okay, is he going to go back to WWE? Is that going to be something now that Vince is gone? And it's like, there comes a certain point in the disaster that is the leadership of AEW where they have to find out what they are going to do as far as a structure goes, because not that guys don't know what they're doing, or not that they do not know what they're doing, I should say, but it's the ego side of things. And this is what kills so many wrestling companies, is the ego is just get in the way and everything goes to hell quickly. For me, that's what I've kind of seen with this situation. Was a lot of guys probably thought that, hey, Punk doesn't deserve this. Punk doesn't deserve the recognition. And rightfully so. I understand that argument as well, because CM Punk's got a hell of an ego, to his own right. But at the same time, he was brought in to be the franchise player, for lack of better words. And like you said, Cole, injuries have plagued his run in AEW over the last year or so. Now, there's been a couple great things. I mean, CM Punk, MJF, I think it will go down as one of the greatest rivalries, at least in AEW history, all time, maybe, if you want to have that discussion. But just some of the promos and the matches, the strap match that they had, absolutely insane. And to think that that all is essentially now going to be thrown out the window because there's guys that I still would have liked to have seen Punk work with. Um, can you not hear me? I don't think Cole can hear me. But anyway, there's guys who I still would have liked to have seen Punk work with. And, that's again getting thrown away over an incident that could have easily been avoided. And I know there's a lot of theories about it. And by the way, I know Punk was frustrated as well, with what he described as working with children. So, it is what it is. That's kind of how I view it. It's unfortunate, but nevertheless, this is the situation that we are in, and I don't see it changing. Because so for y'all who was wondering why there's a random ass cut and no conversation, that would be because and I had to break out the gold here to remind y'all that on this podcast I am the audio champion. No, I'm just kidding. We
Yes,
you know what's funny?
What?
Random spot here, random conversation. So this is a replica title, right? Obviously, it's not the real thing, but the plate on this, if you're looking at it right now, it kind of looks curved, right? It looks normal. Now I want to show you something. Watch, ready? See how? Can you even tell? I don't think you can tell on camera. See how straight that looks? It's because they didn't curve it at all. Like they just sell the replica title just not curved. So it's literally just a flat plate. Hold on. Ugh. Oh, it's upside down. Hold on.
Hold on, maybe you like tilt it to the side, yeah. We can, I mean,
See,
I see
it's
that part,
literally, it's flat. It's not supposed to be like that. They can do the crocodile skin right, but they can't make a plate like a normal plate. Whoops. I just knocked it on my head. Oh, there you go.
Right as that
there.
happened.
Right there.
Yeah,
You
there
can
you go.
see
Yeah,
you can
see
see how straight that is. It's not supposed to
They're
be
supposed
that
to be that
way.
straight, Yeah.
All right. The gold is down. Now we can resume the podcast.
Anyways, so we were talking about the
what I do
Elite,
with my
right?
phone?
Where so I know you did your thing. I kind of lost track. I know you were going into your segment right as my headphones were dying, so I had to switch to my earbuds and put my earpiece in. So right as my earpiece went dead, you were going on about something. So refresh my memory. Were you going into the Elite or did you
Well,
already get?
I was just talking about how embarrassing it is that the leadership sucks, and
Oh yeah,
the same thing. I mean, you probably can figure it out what I was saying,
yeah.
but we can move on into the second part of this. Which, speaking of their leadership sucking ass, some of their leadership is back after being rumored that they were going to be gone, and that's the Elite. The Elite is back. You know more about this than I do because when you told me when we started, I didn't even realize they were back. So if you would like to fill me in here.
So after the CM Punk fight, there were several suspensions concerning AEW. Like Kenny Omega got suspended and the Young Bucks got suspended, and we were thinking they were going to be let go. I was thinking they were going to be let go. My chair just went down, but we're going to keep this thing going anyways. We were thinking they were going to be let go, but you know what?
Here, hold on. I'll go down with you. Hold on.
Tony Khan apparently just has a soft spot. Come on.
That's as far as it goes down.
There we go. Anyways, we were thinking that
podcast.
Yeah. Can't have a good podcast without snafus, right? Anyways. We were thinking that Tony Khan was going to let these guys go. After what had happened in the locker room, the immaturities, the childishness that is the AEW locker room, we were thinking, you know what? Maybe Tony will finally grow a pair of balls, grow a set and maybe actually, I don't know, get him the hell out. and clean up his locker room a little bit so that way we don't have children running the sane asylum. But no, first thing he does, he brings these guys back. He brings back Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, the most childish wrestlers in America right now, and they think they're just absolutely godly top stars somehow, some way. I mean, they couldn't even lace the boots of anybody in the WWE right now. I mean, are you kidding me? These guys need top stars, and they cause all this ruckus and mayhem and act like children. The next thing you know, you're letting them back into your locker room because you think they're going to draw you money. And what are they doing? Are they buying your cocaine for you, Tony Khan? What the hell is going on here? Like, are you serious?
Jeez.
What is happening? Why are you letting immature, overgrown children run your locker room? I mean, come on. Where is our undertakers? Where is our locker room generals? Where is our locker room judges to put an end to this nonsense? Yeah, they're non-existent. And the ones that could have been there, like your CM Punks and your MJFs, well, MJF, he's been reduced to absolutely nothing. Poor man. He's damn good. And CM Punk, well, you threw him out because he wasn't kissing your ass anymore. And well, all your old guys, they're just there for the paycheck. They ain't doing shit. And that's because you won't let them do shit, Tony. That's why. Otherwise, they'd actually be, maintaining order and teaching your talent how to actually, be wrestlers. But we're not getting that. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, it was weird because like I said, when you told me they were back before we started, which by the way, I just think it's fucking hilarious that we're here talking about clown shows in the locker room, and here we are both sitting on the floor and nothing working.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nothing working. Tony Khan, yeah, take inspiration from us. But no, it's like there was rumors that Punk was going to be gone, and then the Elite were going to be gone as well. And I was like, okay, maybe Tony grew a pair and was like, this is my company. Well, no, I mean, they're back. Listen, I think they're talented. I've enjoyed some of their matches. Now, I do think it is the same thing over and over again. That is kind of the problem. Yeah, exactly. Repetitive. If I knew the English language, I would have thought of that. But yes, repetitive is the term to describe them. And at this point, what are they going to? I mean, the trios titles was created for them. Let's not get ourselves wrong here. The trios titles was created for the Elite, and they won them and then got in a fight, hurt an animal, and Punk's gone, and they were all suspended, and now they're back. So what they're going to do, I don't know. I have no clue. It's crazy. And what sucks is, or I shouldn't say what sucks, what's actually good for AEW, and this is what we want to talk about here in a second. There are good tag teams in AEW. There are teams
FTR.
stepping up. FTR has been the best tag team forever. And just recently, we're here to talk about the Acclaimed. They're legitimately a hot, not just a hot tag team, but they're over. I mean, they are over. It might not be DX level of over, but as stupid as it sounds, the scissor me stuff that they're doing is so over that it's becoming the new suck it for this generation. I mean, not me, but the kids in middle school right now are going up to their teachers, scissor me, Mr. Johnson. Like that's literally
Mr. Johnson.
That
Mr. Johnson.
That is literally what's happening. That is what's happening, right? Because remember, there were kids. I mean, maybe not my generation, but before me, there were kids, in school, suck it, and all that. This is the new version of that, right? And I know everybody, and myself as well, is like, oh, they're just copying them. They're trying to do their own big thing. But guess what? It's working. It's working. And now that they have Billy Gunn involved with the Acclaim, going against his kids, it's working. It's working pretty damn well. So I'm excited. I mean, listen, it's very rare in professional wrestling anymore to have someone or something, whether it be a group or whatever,
Hmm.
move not just in the professional wrestling world, but move into schools and into social media. And that's what they're doing. So that's kind of what sucks about the Elite coming back. They're going to steal some shine from the Acclaimed. And I guarantee you they're going to take those titles from them at some point. And it just sucks. But Cole, what do you think about that?
Well, you mentioned a good point about Billy Gunn being in there, and I think a lot of their stuff to me looks like old school 1997, 1998 New Age Outlaws, Road Dogg and Mr. Ass Billy Gunn, Badass Billy Gunn. I mean, they literally have Badass Billy Gunn being their manager right now, and he's giving them all these good pointers. He's giving them solid tips on how they should be doing this, and they want to go with kind of like the DX style, New Age Outlaw style of wrestling, and as you can see, it shows. I mean, the culture's picking up on it. People like it. They see something fresh, but it also reminds them of their past. So you're
Mm.
not only creating a new segment of the population that likes the stuff, but you also have the older segment of the population that goes, "Hey, whoa, we remember this stuff back from the '90s and everything, the Attitude Era and stuff," and they like it. It shows, and obviously eventually, hopefully, this will start becoming a big ratings draw for them, and maybe they can have some good matches with FTR and whatever other good tag teams that AEW might have, and draw money and draw ratings and sell tickets. So it all goes together at one. It beats as one heart. Tickets equals ratings equals money,
And they're
and you
killing it in
draw
merch
money.
too.
Oh
That's
yeah,
another big thing. It's like how many DX shirts you see. There's a
yeah.
lot of them. You know how
Hmm.
many shirts there are of this on a t-shirt?
Mm.
Like, I mean, it's stupid, but yeah, it's
Merchandise, yeah.
merch. Yeah. And it's a big thing. And I'm happy for it because listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first saw them, I was like, okay, this is a early 2000s John Cena ripoff as far as like a tag team where you come out and you do a stupid rap and you have a mediocre match. That's literally what I thought they were. But credit to those guys, they have grown and gotten better and put more time into their entrances and what they're coming up with. I mean, Cole, I was there in Columbus when
Hmm.
they dropped the
Yeah.
Vince McMahon line. That was the first time I've ever been in a professional wrestling or at a professional wrestling event where I've literally went, holy shit. Like they just not
Hmm.
even covered over it. They literally just name dropped right when all this happened. And I was like, man, like that's what DX did. That's
Hmm.
showing up to WCW. It's not the
Yeah.
same, but in the modern day equivalent, that's the same type of shit. And the fact that they're doing
Hmm.
it and at a high level and they're taking shots at political leaders, they're taking shots at other companies, and they don't care. That's what I want. That's what the WWE should be going for now under Triple H. And they have a
Yeah.
little bit. But
Mhm.
professional wrestling is supposed to be counterculture. That means the culture of today, the button down, oh, you got to follow all these rules. You can't, say anything crazy. Fuck that. No,
Mhm.
fuck that. That is exactly what they're doing. That's why they're so successful. And if other people would get this through their heads, they'd be a lot more successful as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, no, it not only is it supposed to be counterculture, but you know what? It's designed to generate heat. The whole point of wrestling is to get people emotionally involved. I mean, everybody's emotionally involved in a football game, but it just doesn't have the same oomph factor that a good hot match would have. A good, storyline, a good promo. I mean, you could have people literally, throwing things at you out of nowhere, or you could have ladies throwing their panties in the air if you get them going good. I mean, come on. I mean, if you get something really solid inside the wrestling business, you could have some serious emotional investment in it, and that's what draws money because people want to see, that heel get their ass kicked by that baby face or so on and so forth. That's what draws money. And, unfortunately, we've lost that, but I'm glad to see that, there's still people, there's still talent out there that is trying to get that old school sense of wrestling back into the mainstream. despite all the political correctness that goes on these days. So it's a nice thing to see that, people are still trying. So maybe hopefully they break through, get through all this, gunk that's in the business right now and push it on through and get back to the way it's supposed to be, back to normalcy within the business. So anyways, now let's get off of AEW. We're gonna go right into WWF. I'm sorry, WWE, and Bray Wyatt is back, and we've had some people come back under Triple H now that he's back in charge. We've seen Bray Wyatt. Who else has come back after Bray Wyatt?
A ton of NXT people. Well, I should say NXT, but there's been some of the originals. We talked about Braun Strowman when he came back. A lot of the women's roster from NXT come back. Trying to think who all else. There are a lot. I can't remember off the top of my head. But Johnny Gargano has come back. And a lot of people who've just been more involved from NXT as well. Ciampa, although he's hurt right now. And there's some others, but yeah, Bray Wyatt is the big one. And it's interesting. I don't know how much of his return that you've seen, Cole, but go ahead.
Not a whole lot. I mean, I've seen a little bit and I've heard some pretty positive reviews about it, but I haven't really paid too much attention to it. But I'm actually very happy to see him back. I mean, my goodness, the way they cut him loose was absolutely disgraceful. And not only that, but when they made, the Fiend character, the Fiend was so good. Bray Wyatt did a hell of a job doing that character, and to put him with someone like Alexa Bliss in that, schoolgirl, demonic schoolgirl kind of look, like, what are they doing? The creative towards the end of Bray Wyatt's career at WWE before he came back was absolutely hard to watch. It was just ridiculous. It was stupid. It was phony. It was cartoonish. All the things you might hear on a Jim Cornette podcast. Well, guess what? We're going to say the same thing because it's the truth. And see all that transpire, and then they just cut him loose as if he meant nothing, even though he's, a really good talent, a really good generational talent, that is, because he is the son of Mike Rotunda. And just the way they dropped the ball on him was absolutely disgraceful. And I'm glad that, that they gave him a second chance, and I'm glad they gave him that he decided that he wanted to come back to work. So, and, help the company at a time of need where they need good talent, where they need people that can draw ratings and draw money and bring WWE back to where it needs to be. So kudos Triple H for doing that. Hopefully, hopefully they do it to CM Punk too. Hopefully they put business, personal feelings aside and bring him back.
Could you imagine that?
That would be huge.
That would be insane. And they need it too. They don't really have a ton of top stars, so he'd come back and instantly be at the top. But yeah, so back to Bray Wyatt. Since they brought him back, I don't think we talked about it on this podcast the last time. I don't believe so. No, you're right, because we didn't talk about Extreme Rules. So at the end of Extreme Rules, it was Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins in I forget what it was. It was supposed to be like a MMA style wrestling match, which normally sucks. I loved it, actually. I thought it was really good. It was the first time, because people forget Matt Riddle actually legitimately has an MMA background. People forget how stupid his gimmick is and his character is sometimes. He's a legit could kick your ass if he wanted to. Right. So they let him kind of do that in this match, and I thought it was really, 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 really good for what I thought it could have been. Put it in context. But nevertheless, so Bray Wyatt, they make it seem as if they are going off the air, right? Matt Riddle, or no, was it Rollins at the end of the ramp, hand raised, whatever. And then all of a sudden, lights cut out. Michael Cole, Corey Graves, I believe, And Michael Cole, I mean, people shit on him, right? Under Vince, he sucked, but sold it perfectly. Corey, are we still on the air? What's going? You know what I mean? Like, sold it perfectly, and then all of a sudden, lights go out, right? And everybody knew because it was speculated that Bray was coming back. So the lights are up, phone flashlights are up, and I mean, flashback from Bray Wyatt versus Cena, 2014, I want to say 15, when there was the kids in the weird voices singing "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands." It was that, but just a deep, creepy voice. And they pan across the arena, and at every exit in the arena is a character from the Firefly Funhouse, but brought to life and even more creepy. And then the last one, and by the way, it was long. It was disturbing how long you sat there and listened to "He's Got the Whole World." Like, it was weird. It was weird. And the last character was the Fiend, right? But it wasn't Bray Wyatt as the Fiend. And originally I was like, oh shoot, he came back as the Fiend. And then no. Cuts to the stage, and it's just a door. Just a box, whatever.
Like a Terry Funk, yeah.
Yeah, weird music starts playing. Door kicks open, smoke. Very Brody Lee-esque. If you remember when Brody Lee first came into AEW, it was, I believe it was a tribute to him, but Bray has made that a part of his entrance. Anyway, long story short, music starts playing. He comes out and essentially just says, "Extreme Rules, I'm here," whatever. So since that point, and by the way, I want to make a quick comment here on something. This always happens. There's always something that I hate at first, and then I come around to like it for whatever reason with wrestling. And Bray Wyatt's entrance music, I don't know if you've heard it, Cole. The first 5 times you hear it, you're going to think, this sucks ass. This sucks. It does not fit him. But I've caught myself listening to it multiple times since then, just because it's kind of that weird punk rock emo-ish feel. I mean, it's weird, but like there's a part of the song that is so catchy that you'll just get hooked on. But nevertheless, so I hated that at first, but now I like it. But his first promo back was on SmackDown. Bray Wyatt's a SmackDown character, strictly, which I like that. Don't have him on both shows. Don't have him doing stupid shit, because then you just overwhelm it. You know, you run out of stuff eventually. His first promo is Bray Wyatt, the person, saying, "I was depressed. I didn't know what to do. Everybody was asking me, when you coming back, when you coming back, and you guys kept me alive," whatever. That was weird because we've never seen that from Bray Wyatt. A.
Yeah, genuine Bray Wyatt, yeah.
Exactly. And B, the promo finished with, of course, some spooky bullshit. And it was his character, I can't even describe it, but anyway, his character was like, you don't know who you are, you don't know what you're going to have to do or whatever. So, long story short, I know I've said that like 3 times now, but I promise I'm finishing. Bray Wyatt's character in WWE now is essentially, I believe they're calling it the Wyatt 6. And this is going to be interesting, Cole, because everybody thought it was going to be 6 different people with him in a faction. It seems like it's going to be a split personality character with Bray Wyatt, where he's constantly fighting the internal battle of himself versus this part of him versus that part of him. And if they do it right, this could be really good. And I hope the Fiend is a part of that, because I agree with you. The Fiend is a character that needs to stay. Yeah. But if you make it a once or twice a year thing and make it super special, it could be really, really, really good.
I agree. 100%. Oh, yeah. Let's see how they take it. I'm genuinely curious to see how they actually will take Bray Wyatt, the direction they're going to take him in, and we'll see how it goes. So Nevertheless, next up on our list, there has been some speculation, whether it just be whispers in the industry or social media or whatever you want to call it, just kind of rumors floating around that apparently Jake Paul, of all people, might be coming into WWE to join Logan and create a little tag team.
Hey, before we
Hmm.
get into this, I should say, because I didn't watch it. I know you didn't watch it. I don't know if you've seen the news, but Logan Paul tore his MCL and ACL, so he's not going to be wrestling for a while. But to this conversation, when he is ready to come back, Jake Paul just beat Anderson Silva. Right? It was Anderson Silva, I believe, right?
I think I'm not sure.
Yeah. So, by the way, I don't like Jake Paul. I don't really even like Logan Paul, but I got a hell of a lot of respect for the both of those kids, whatever, guys. Um, because legitimately, when you go from the Disney Channel to knocking out people who are legit, because that was the conversation was like, oh, you didn't fight anybody real. Silva's a legit motherfucker.
Yeah,
That
he's a
guy can
shooter. Yeah.
fight. So, anyways, I just want to say I got a lot of respect for those two. And for Logan, I mean, Cole, you and I said the same thing after WrestleMania. That guy is pretty damn good. Like he's shown some really good stuff. So if Logan and Jake are going to become a tag team, as good as Logan has picked this up already, they're competitive brothers. Let's not confuse this. They're not, here to be buddy buddy. They're
Hmm.
going to try to one up each other.
Oh
This
yeah.
could be really good.
Oh yeah, and I think given how athletic the two brothers are, I think that they could actually be a pretty good ratings draw. Not only that, but they got the social media influence already there, so that's already an extra money draw. Um, I don't know how much they're going to bring over into the wrestling when it comes to I get it. Okay, so they got social media and they got all this publicity and everything. I'm just not entirely sure how much of those people are really going to follow them into wrestling. I mean, I would expect there'd be a lot, but but that also can be questionable because since wrestling is kind of a niche kind of thing for some people, so we'll have to see. But I think overall, having Jake Paul, if he once he gets out of injury and becomes kind of this kind of free agent kind of person to do whatever he wants, I think it'd be good for the both of them to go into a tag team and run up the tables. Maybe have a good competition with the Usos. You could have something like that. That'd be a good little WrestleMania headliner. Usos, Paul's, you know, tag team titles on the line. Unified tag team titles on the line. That'd be a good little storyline right there. You can make something with that. So we'll have to see. It definitely sounds interesting, and I do hope they make it happen. So
I will say
anyway,
though, my only sorry, I didn't mean to cut
go
you
ahead.
off, but
No, you're good.
me and a couple buddies were talking about it, and one of them used to watch wrestling but knows Logan Paul. And he said, I forget what the text was. It was like, "Call me crazy, but Logan's actually really good at this." And what I responded, and Cole, I'd say you'd probably agree with me here.
Yeah.
If they keep letting Logan perform the same way that he is, but they fix his character, he could be one of these kind of outsider coming into wrestling stars. Like people will say he already is, but he could legit be a star. Given
Hmm.
his talent in the ring, he's just got to figure out his character. And I tell you what, as controversial as this may seem, Logan's great, but I think the wrong brother is in professional wrestling. Jake Paul is literally a professional wrestler in his attitude, the way he talks shit. Logan has always
Oh yeah,
been
he's a
kind
hell of a
of,
promo.
oh yeah, Logan's always kind of been I mean, don't make fun of me for saying this, but for the YouTuber who was caught, recording a hanging forest, I mean, Logan has always been the nicer of the two brothers. Um, but Jake will talk shit. Jake will talk shit straight to your face. That's why I kind of want Jake in WWE. As much as I don't like the both of them, I think if you bring to what we're talking about here, if you make them a tag team, make Jake the talking piece and Logan kind of the athleticism, actual physical side of things, it could be really, really good.
Yeah, I mean the dynamic is I don't know what it is about the younger brother. I mean I see like in the wrestling example Briscoes, anytime you
Yeah.
watch a Briscoe promo, it ain't you might hear Jack say a little bit of the promo, but it's always Jerry Briscoe the one cutting that promo, just going at it, just cutting that hot promo on whoever it may be, and like the Funks, when you got Dory Funk and Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk, Terry cut a lot of the promos, and I mean even a real life example, my friend Wes. You got him and Isaac. Isaac's really the nice guy, but Wes is the shit talker, cutting the promos, getting all the heat on everybody. Doing the work. So I like that dynamic where you have the younger brother, coming out here talking all this shit. You got the big brother, the one that's got the heavy fist coming out there, batting 1,000. So I think that's going to be a great dynamic. I think you could really create some of that, these guys like a Briscoes or like a Funks.
Well, who did we just talk about? Look at the Acclaimed. One of them does the talking and the other does the heavy hitting. I mean, it's the perfect 1-2 punch.
Mm-hmm. And oh man, if they ever did like an invasion angle, the Acclaim versus the Pauls.
Oh my god!
Oh, we're booking geniuses here. Oh, that'd be great. So,
could you imagine? I would bet you $100 that the first thing they say is something about the Disney Channel.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, speaking of Logan Paul, apparently we were sitting here in the last podcast talking about who might be next for Roman Reigns, and as it would seem right now, it would seem that Logan Paul, per what's coming up on Crown Jewel, or actually what has occurred at Crown Jewel, that is my mistake. Logan Paul is currently the guy they have pushed to be battling Roman in the main event, and I don't know. Maybe it's a little early, but I think given the circumstances they're in, they ain't got Cody. They're missing
Randy
Orton. Yeah, they ain't got Randy.
I think Edge is hurt too. If I'm not mistaken.
Edge is hurt too. Edge in his old age, that is not. But nevertheless, so I think giving Logan a good push is really good. But I'm still waiting on that Braun Breaker and Walter to get in there and start running tables on the main roster. So
what? Throw Braun at him. Throw Braun at him early. I know we talked about this before, but you have nobody else. You might as well throw Braun at him. Have him lose now and then build him up later. That's how I would do it. But there's really nobody.
Right.
There's really nobody. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think Braun Breaker and Walter are. I think even though they're still kind of green, I think they can handle it. I think maybe. Since they don't have anybody else, you got two damn good talents right there, just kind of in the works. Shoot, I think.
You know what it reminds me of?
Let's go and give a test.
Do you remember when Kevin Owens came up from NXT and immediately went into the battle for the U.S. title with John Cena?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I would go with something similar to that, where like Owens was legitimized day one because he came in from NXT, fought the top of the top, and I believe he won. I don't remember exactly, but they could do something like that.
Right.
So
they could. I think it could work. I don't know, but we'll just have to see. But I think for the moment, I mean, giving Logan a little run with Roman, I think. I mean, it's a good filler while they're guys that work as independent talent, get well and get back in the ring. So that way we could probably get Cody to make a push at Roman, and we could really run up the ratings and the money. So we'll have to see. Anyways, continuing on, JBL is back in the ring this time as a manager.
JBL and his big
Uh,
pants.
JBL and his big pants with Happy Corbin. Sweetwater, Texas represent. All right. You know, to say the least on this one, I'm glad that they're giving. I'm glad that they got JBL doing something. I mean, aside from being an analyst on one of the WWE networks or some other WWE sports show, or I don't know what he is. I don't know exactly, but give him a manager position for Happy Corbin because you know, Baron Corbin, um, they have really, 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 really pissed all over his gimmick. I mean, because look, when he first started out, he was actually kind of a serious guy. People took him seriously, and he's a pretty good talent. He's actually a really good talent. But they give him these wacky, dumbass gimmicks that make him look like a 2 year old, and they got him doing these stupid things, and the creative team just shat all over his gimmick and knew who this guy is. And unfortunately, nobody really took him seriously for so long. But I'm glad that they got him with JBL because JBL is a hell of a promo. Like I said, he got that Texas in him, so he knows how to cut a promo about as good as anybody. He's as good as Stone Cold Steve Austin, really. Being a shoot style promo and everything. So JBL's a hell of a promo, and you got a really good talent in Happy Corbin because like him or not, the man can wrestle. Happy Corbin can wrestle. Um, that's a good thing to see that they're actually giving this guy an opportunity like this. Putting him with a manager or something, somebody that can make it work for him. So somebody that can put him over, and then you can let this guy do the work and kick some ass. And that's what we like to see. This is Triple H is doing a hell of a job. This and it's evident. It's evident, with what he's doing, like putting JBL, Happy Corbin, Logan Paul, all these other guys that should be getting a push. Even people bringing people back like Braun Strowman, like your Bray Wyatt and everything, so on and so forth. We're seeing a rebuilding of a company that has been absolutely burned, pillaged, and raped by a guy that was, had diddling the office secretaries and everything. So, with that being said, I'm glad to see that we're seeing a return to actual wrestling, and we're actually letting the wrestlers say wrestling and not, sports entertainment. So, that what you're going to see, like I said, and I've been kind of saying this privately among my little friend group, is that 2022 is really the year that's going to set up the year for the record year business, which is 2023. And I think the position that everybody's putting themselves in, especially in the wrestling business, on the WWE side for sure. I don't know about AEW. Well, let's see what happens next year with them if they make it another year with all the crap that's going on in their company. But I think with WWE, what they're doing right now is they're doing a realignment, repositioning their talent and bringing back old talent that can, enhance the current product. So as a result, we're starting to see what is the realignment that is going to really explode come WrestleMania. And I think WrestleMania is going to be a really, really, really good show. I am actually looking forward to seeing this one. So let's see. What do you think about GVO working with Baron Corbin?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said there. It's gonna surprise a lot of people, but it's one of these combinations that you wouldn't expect necessarily. But after the fact, it kind of makes a lot of sense why they're together. Remember what JBL was. He was the heel that you loved to hate. And at times it was go away heat because people just didn't want to see JBL. That's exactly what Baron Corbin has been. And I feel like it's a really, really good pairing because Baron Corbin sucks on the mic. He's not great on the mic. And pairing him with somebody like JBL, who is a dominant voice on the microphone. It's a great combination because, like you mentioned, Corbin can go in the ring, even surprisingly good. There's a lot of times where I've, especially like at WrestleMania this past year, where I've like, I don't want to see this match, and it ends up being pretty all right. Um, so I think it's a really good
Mhm.
pairing. I know JBL is kind of known for being a jerk, to say it lightly, but I think it's needed, and I think he is put with the perfect guy, and hopefully he can take Corbin to the next level. What level that is, I don't know. I think he needs to change his gimmick as a whole. I think what it is right now is kind
Yeah.
of Mickey Mouse, and it sucks. But I mean,
Mhm.
maybe they can do something there because Corbin. To be honest with you, if he fixed his mic skills, he could be one of these temporary champions. I mean, if Jinder Mahal can be champion in the WWE, you can make Baron Corbin a champion at some point if you build him up right. Which under Triple H, I do believe is a possibility because remember, Corbin's an NXT guy, so we can talk about all these NXT guys, but Corbin is another one who people forget. So, um,
Mhm.
nevertheless, yeah, I think it's hopefully good things to come with that. I think it'll work out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, this one wasn't really on the format, but you know what? I'm going to add this one in because I got inspiration from this while I listened to one of these podcasts and stuff. Let's go back to CM Punk. Let's talk about this one. Let's talk about CM Punk coming back to WWE. Let's talk about how good that might actually be. We understand that he had an unceremonious departure. He was fired on his wedding day, for Christ's sakes. And him and Triple H had beef. We get that, and he stayed out of the ring for about 7, 8 years, whatever it may be, and goes to AEW, and this billionaire Mark absolutely just buries him into the hole. It completely destroys his gimmick and everything. I would be really, really happy, actually genuinely happy, if Triple H goes, "Hey, I know we had beef in the past, but I think you'd be really good for us. Let's uh, let's put personal feelings aside. Why don't you come back? We'll let you have a big run. Let's get you going again. Because what this guy did over in the competition AEW, he buried you. He didn't know what he was doing. So I think it'd be really good if they were to bring CM Punk back into the WWE and let him have a little run or something. Let him may not have to give him a world championship run, but I think it'd be good to bring him back and let him revitalize his gimmick and let him actually wrestle with some talent rather than wrestling with children. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I heard somebody talking about this. I can't remember who it was. But to your point about Triple H extending that olive branch, somebody had made the point that Triple H is not known to hold grudges. I don't know how true that is off the top of my head, but um, Punk is. Punk is somebody who you screw him over once, he'll never talk to you again. But given that Triple H is kind of in control now, and obviously Stephanie is as well, but Triple H is in control of creative. I mean, let's just call it what it is. I think there is more of a chance than ever that Punk would come back to WWE because he got his taste of the wrestling business again. And remember, it was,
Hmm.
oh, I love this. I'm so happy to be back. I'm going to be here for X amount of years. I'm not leaving, all this stuff. And he legitimately looked like he was having fun and enjoyed it up until the end with everything went to hell. So I think there is a part of him that says, "Hey, I would like to, maybe do this a little bit more." I don't know for a fact, but if Triple H, and I think somebody asked Triple H about this, and he had said something along the lines of he'd be open to it, and there's always room for conversation. So, um,
Hmm.
we'll see how they would do it is more the interesting conversation to me because where you're at right now, because if CM Punk comes back to the WWE, he's coming back to be the main champion. He will not come back. I guarantee you, he is coming back to have what he didn't have under Vince. A main event of WrestleMania. He's always wanted it. He's never had it, and he's deserved it. To be fair, he's deserved it. So he's going to want that.
Mhm.
And B, he's probably going to want one last title run, however long that will be. How do you do that? Because you can't do that anytime soon, because Roman's going to hold those titles at least until WrestleMania, at least.
Yeah.
So, and do you really want Punk being the first one to beat Roman when he comes back? I don't think so. We've talked about this. This is almost, it's a very crunched comparison,
Yeah.
but it's
Mhm.
almost like Undertaker's streak, where it's like, do you want Brock Lesnar to break the streak because Brock's already been legitimized, or would you rather build a younger star and they just beat the streak? They're forever immortalized. That's kind of how I view this. Do you really
Yeah.
want Punk to come back and beat Roman, or do you want Braun Breaker or Walter to come up and really, really step on the throat of this company and be a star? That's how I view it. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
I think if they do bring him back, you got to kind of give him, you got to give him a run. I mean, I don't think he should be automatically put in the number one contender spot or automatically give him, a title shot. I think he needs to build himself back up because I mean, so much damage has been done to his gimmick in AEW that it's going to take some time to rehabilitate him into the image that he was at, where he was in WWE as this, as this absolute dominant force to be reckoned with. So it's going to take some time. Hopefully they rebuild his gimmick, and if they bring, that's assuming they bring him back. If they bring him back, it's going to take some time, but I think eventually it's going to be well deserved to give him a title run and give him a main event match at WrestleMania. So we'll have to
Hey,
see.
you know what would be hilarious? I highly doubt that
What?
this would happen, but MJF's contract, unless he signed a new one, which I don't know if he has or not, is
I don't
up
think
in,
he did.
okay, it's up in 2024. Bring Punk back for like a year and a half, 2 years. Have MJF come
Hmm.
back on Raw, or come into the WWE on Raw or something. Retirement match, CM Punk
Yeah,
versus MJF, and then, because I
that
mean,
would be good.
because how, what a better way of sending CM Punk out than bringing in MJF into WWE and have him start off with the hottest feud that he's had in a long time. Like, could you imagine? Like, I don't think it's gonna happen. I
The
don't.
month.
I just want that.
Uh,
I just want that out there. I don't think that's gonna happen. But fantasy booking wise, whoa, that would be nuts. But
oh yeah, that's going to draw some money. So, anyways, last but not least, uh, you've had a pretty interesting little run-in up in Ohio recently, haven't you? You've been meeting
oh
some
yeah.
top talent. Yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah, so I for everybody who knows, I don't know, a lot of people probably have heard it because I've mentioned it a lot. I did get a new job, and because of that new job, my recording schedule has been absolutely terrible. But the perks of my job is anybody can walk in, and you never know who might walk in. Well, one day it was a dead Tuesday night or Thursday night, whatever. Just me and my coworker sitting there killing time. And yeah, all of a sudden this couple walks in, and I was like, okay, I need to actually do work. And she had on an AEW zip up hoodie. And I was like, oh, that's funny. So I made a comment about it. I said, oh, AEW hoodie, huh? Well, anyway, her husband goes, "Oh yeah, she's a big fan." So I was like, "Okay, whatever. They're fans." So I go back to doing what I'm doing, whatever. She went to the other end of the store. He went, near me, whatever. And the whole time I was like, I think I recognize that voice.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you do podcasting and stuff and you've talked to people long enough, you recognize their voice more than their face. That's just kind of how it goes. Same thing with radio. I mean, are you going to recognize Howard Stern from his face or his voice?
Voice.
Joe Rogan, same thing.
Right.
Are you going to
Mm-hmm.
it's that kind of thing. Well, anyway, so I was like, who is he? In my head, I'm like, I feel like I know him. Anyway, long story short, he ends up bringing something up, and I was like, "Oh, so you said, you guys are fans or whatever?" He goes, "Oh no, she works for them." I said, "She works for them." He goes, "Yeah." I said, "If you don't mind me asking, what does she do?" She goes, or he goes, sorry, he goes, "Oh, she's a wrestler and a coach." And then the wheels really started spinning because here I'm hearing him more and more, and my brain's like, you know who this is, but I couldn't put a name with the voice, and the face didn't match what I was thinking. Well, anyways, and I feel bad because in hindsight, she is more important than he is in the current world of professional wrestling. So there's no shot he's going to see
Mm-hmm.
this. So I apologize to your wife for not acknowledging her as being important, but I didn't know who she was. That's my fault. I'm an
Yeah.
idiot. Um, but I'm talking to him, right? And I go, if you don't mind me asking, did you do anything in wrestling? And he goes, yeah. And I go, you were a commentator interviewer, right? Or weren't you? And he goes, yep. And I was like, I know exactly who you are. I was like, I know exactly who you are. I said, I was sitting here trying to figure out, because here's the thing, you got to think about it this way, right? In the wrestling
Mm-hmm.
business, they marry each other, they date each other. It happens all the time. So if you know who the other one is, odds are the other one is going to be important as well. Well, anyway, I'm talking to him, right? And I figured out who he was, and I was like, oh, that's crazy, whatever. And a part of my job is asking for emails, and I'm not going to give his email away for obvious reasons because you guys are psychopaths. So I'm not going to give away emails on the internet, but um, his name was in the email, and it was Josh Matthews. And for you guys who do not remember, Josh Matthews did commentary, he did backstage stuff, and interviewer for the WWE. He's currently commentating for Impact. And for me, and this is kind of what I was telling Cole and why it was kind of crazy. A lot of people, if they saw a wrestling interviewer, would just kind of brush it off, whatever. But for me, you got to think about it. Growing up, that was the voice that I remember, watching Raw in 2011 and 12 and, just kind of really getting into things. So that was a cool experience. I just want to know, if I knew English, I should say for the record, he was a very nice guy to me. Sat there and talked to me for a little bit. He took a picture with me. So I appreciate he's not going to see this, but I appreciate him going out of his way, being nice. And it was, good to find out. I did not realize he was a fan of the place that I work at. And he is, and he lives in the area. So actually very close in the area, come to find out. But, that was cool. Hopefully he'll be back someday. Maybe we'll get him on this podcast. It was funny. I texted Cole. I said I should have asked him to come on the podcast. And then I thought, no, he'll probably
You should have.
there would have been no way that he could have, but at least I could have asked him, who knows? Maybe someday, but I don't know. But anyways, that was my story about meeting Josh Matthews. And my coworker was a wrestling fan as well. And he goes, the whole time you were talking to him, I was trying to figure out who he was. And I'm like, yeah, I was too. But anyways, that is the story of meeting one Mr. Josh Matthews. So
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe this one wraps it up. We got some more content coming out for you real soon, so stick around. I believe we're going to be doing some reviews of some pay-per-views and maybe some Raws and anything else spicy that comes along. We will definitely pass that along to you first chance we get. Derek, do you have anything else you'd like to add on before we sign off for the evening?
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, I'll say it anyway. So we're not live. This is recorded. So at whatever point this podcast is out, today is election day in America. And I just want it to be known, stop screaming at people about politics and arguing with people on Twitter. You're not going to change anybody's opinion. I hate politics. It's stupid. Not that it's not important. I don't want to say anything like that because it is important.
Mhm.
But this is kind of a message to my coworker as well. I do not care what your political opinion is. You're not going to change mine. I'm not going to change yours. I mean, that's just what it is. So if you enjoy talking about it, great. But don't try to you know, force somebody else to believe what you believe. And if they don't get mad at them. It's America, right? You got the right to vote, and you know, just let people believe what they want to believe. I believe my own stuff. You believe your own stuff. Whatever. Nobody's the
Mhm.
exact same. So, everybody on election days are gonna fight and argue and complain. Breaking news. I don't care if YouTube gets mad at me for saying this. Every last one of them are full of crap. Every last one of them lies. So, I mean, Cole, you trust me. If we really wanted to, we could dive into it. But you know as well as I do, it's a lot of BS. It's the same thing as the professional wrestling world. It's a lot of entertainment, and you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Let's just say that.